Hokage Saga, Invincible Power by Sacrificing Emotional Intelligence. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 26. During the day today, I asked Ebisu to teach Shiraishi ninja basics, but Ebisu came back and told me that Shiraishi's ninja basic attributes have reached the level of special upper ninja. Just because there are not many ninjutsu who can know, and the strength is not particularly upper ninja. But you also know that with Shiraishi's talent, learning ninjutsu is a quick thing. Asuma froze. In other words, as long as Shiraishi is willing, tomorrow Shiraishi's strength can reach the real special forbearance? It doesn't even take long to become a shinobi? That's right. Asuma looked at Kakashi next to him. Then it's not similar to Kakashi's day. Kakashi shook his head. Unlike me, I entered the battlefield much earlier, and at that time I was promoted to Shainin, and there were some seedlings in it, and in terms of talent, I was not as good as Shiraishi. Sarutobi glanced at Kakashi. Kakashi, you may not be very happy when I say this, but judging from Shiraishi's current performance, Shiraishi's talent is indeed stronger than yours, even stronger than your teacher, Feng Shui Men. Both Kakashi and Asuma's eyes widened, because the name Wei Feng Shui Gate is extraordinary for Konoha, civilian ninja origin. There is no blood succession limit, but it can overwhelm all blood succession limit ninjas of the same age. The Third Ninja World War even won the name of Golden Flash. After that, succeeds Hokage. However, Shiraishi's character is a big problem. Sarutobi said, I personally feel that it is not suitable to give Shiraishi too much ninjutsu now. What Shiraishi needs is not to improve his strength, but to change his personality, which is more important. What do you think? Asuma hesitated. Similar to human pillar force? Ape Flying Sun was silent for a long moment. Let's say so, but the destructiveness of Shiraishi is certainly not comparable to the human pillar force, but at the same time, the problem of Shiraishi is not as great as the human pillar force. I agree with Naruto-sama, your idea, Kakashi said. Father, I approve too. Sarutobi nodded and said, you two agree, then it seems that my idea should be correct. Let Shiraishi learn the communication skills to get along with other people first. I will arrange for Shiraishi to take turns in each squad to learn. Kakashi, Asuma, this communication will trouble you. By the way, don't tell those little ninjas about the fact that Shiraishi is my disciple. Kakashi and Asuma looked at each other and nodded. Yes. Shiraishi didn't expect that his life as a transfer student would start again. Moreover, this is not a shift yet. Instead, plug in multiple times. Each ninja squad stepped in. Shiraishi looked at Asuma in front of him and frowned. So, my arrangement today is to follow your squad senior? That's right. Okay, let's go. Shiraishi shrugged. Asuma was relieved to hear Shiraishi agree. Before coming, Asuma was ready for rejection. After all, normal little ninjas will be disgusted by such things. No one likes to go with the flow. Today here, tomorrow there. I didn't expect it to go so smoothly. And Asuma doesn't know. Such a thing is not a bad thing for Shiraishi. No EQ events are triggered and talent points can be earned. So, how do you trigger an EQ event? Reaching out to more people, of course. Ino, Dingji, Shikamaru, their eyes widened slightly when they saw Asuma and Shiraishi approaching. Shiraishi? What are you doing here? Shiraishi pointed at Asuma. Senior Asuma asked me to come, probably because he thought you were too weak. Let me help. No EQ event trigger. Talent +6. Asuma suddenly showed an embarrassed expression. He had never said that. Ahem. Asuma coughed dryly. Today Shiraishi will form a squad with us to complete the mission. The task I have already received. It is to find a missing cat. The task I will not participate in. It will be completed by the four of you. This is your first mission after becoming a ninja. Please be sure to complete it carefully. Ino walked curiously to Shiraishi's side. Shiraishi, who is your instructor? Can't say. This was explained by Asuma to Shiraishi before coming, and he could not say the identity of the Ape Flying Sun. Can't say? Ino was stunned for a moment. What can't be said about that? Isn't it our ninja from Konoha? Is it male or female? Does it look good? How's the strength? Shiraishi answered Ino's questions one by one. I can say that. It's a man. The strength is okay. It's long. It's not good looking. It's ugly. Hearing this, Asuma didn't hold back, choked on a puff of smoke, wanted to laugh, and felt that he should be angry. Asuma couldn't help but wonder what her father's expression would be if he heard this assessment. Cough, cough, don't turn heads and ears. I'm about to get to the client's place. Episode 27. An old lady. He wasn't a ninja before, but just an ordinary businessman. Otherwise, such a simple thing will be done by yourself. It's not the turn to commission a ninja. So, how are we going to divide the work now? Shiraishi raised his hand. Shiraishi, do you have anything to say? Cats are creatures, I understand. Shiraishi said. For humans, cats just see them as servants, and now the cat has left either because they want to go out and relax, or because they think this servant is not good and want to change them. So I don't think there's a need to look for it. Ino hesitated, but our task is to find the cat. No. Shiraishi shook his head and said, you are wrong. Our task is to solve this commission, but it does not mean that we have to find the cat. We let the commissioner do not want to find the cat. If you can't solve the commission, just solve the person who proposed the commission. What to do? Ino asked subconsciously. There are so many stray cats in Konoha, just grab one and come back. The three of them instinctively felt that something was not right. Shiraishi, do you want us to ask Asuma-sensei? If Asuma-sensei agrees, we'll do it. Shiraishi glanced at Ino. No wonder it's not you who became Sasuke's teammate, but a classmate with a big forehead. Classmate with a big forehead? You said Sakura? Ino reacted, immediately very angry. Ino knows that his failure to become Sasuke's teammate has nothing to do with whether he is good or not, because a Nuga butterfly must be a member of the same squad and cannot be separated. But hearing Shiraishi say this, he was still very angry. And jealousy. Ino snorted. I'm no worse than Sakura. If you don't ask Asuma-sensei, I don't believe that we can't complete this simple task. No EQ event trigger. Talent +6. Dingji stabbed Shikamaru. Shikamaru, is it really good to do this? Whatever. Shikamaru sighed and said, can you still stop Shiraishi? Can't stop it. That's it. Shiraishi and Ino came to the old lady. Old lady. The old lady looked over. How? Did you find the whereabouts of my orange? Nope. Shiraishi coughed dryly and said, Old lady, I thought about it for a moment. I think that since the cat has left, then there is no need for you to find the cat back. The twisted melon is not sweet. How about I go and catch a stray cat for you casually? The old lady was stunned for a moment. I just want oranges. Old lady, do you think cats have thoughts? Yes. Isn't that enough? That cat has already disliked you and left you. What are you looking for it for? Tangerine can't dislike me. Then why did it leave? Maybe you're in danger. Very unlikely. Shiraishi said, Konoha has no stray dogs, nor does it have the habit of eating cat meat, and no one will do anything to a cat, it just dislikes you. The old lady fell silent. After a long time, the old lady waved her hand. I'm not looking for it, the commission is cancelled, you guys go. Shiraishi smiled. Look, it's settled. Ino hesitated, but we didn't catch stray cats either. That's just an alternative. Shiraishi glanced at Ino and said, our real goal is to solve the problem of the person who made the commission. And now it is all right. The four returned to Asuma. Solved so quickly? Asuma was a little stunned. The old lady revoked the commission. Asuma looked at Shikamaru. Shikamaru explained the ins and outs of the matter. Asuma felt a little sore. Shiraishi's way of completing the task is really an unusual path. It's just that the task is indeed solved. Because the old lady took the initiative to revoke the task, the commission money will not be less. But that's not the goal. Asuma's purpose in taking this task is to train the tracking ability of Shikamaru and the three. Take cats as an example, and then extrapolate to ninjas. It can be used when you go to the battlefield later. Now, what is this called? Okay. Asuma sighed and said, it's almost noon. I invited you to dinner. What do you want to eat? Ramen or yakiniku? Ramen. Roast. Roast. Asuma looked at Shiraishi, who had not yet answered. What about Shiraishi? I want to eat seafood. Asuma. The eyes of the three of Jinyi lit up. Asuma-sensei, we also want to eat a seafood dinner. Asuma felt that her wallet, which was not rich in the first place, was going to make things worse. But, okay. Asuma squeezed her purse, feeling a little painful. Great. A group of four walked into the restaurant. Waiter, serve. With Asuma's sacrifice alone, in exchange for the happiness of the four of Shiraishi. Shiraishi. Asuma looked at Shiraishi while eating the fish viciously. Why don't you want to get that cat back? It shouldn't be difficult for you, right? That old lady abuses cats. Episode 28. When these words fell, all four of Asuma's eyes suddenly looked at Shiraishi. Especially Shikamaru. Is it true? Shiraishi glanced at Ino. Are you doubting my ability to observe? No. Ino quickly denied it. But we didn't find anything. It's normal that you are so weak that you can't find out. Ino. No EQ event trigger. Talent +3. Dingxi paused and continued to eat. For Dingxi, nothing is more important than what you eat. But Shikamaru, a little remorseful. For his IQ, observation, Shikamaru is confident. Even if Shiraishi was strong before, but just combat strength. That's not what Shikamaru is good at. Therefore, it is not in competition with Shikamaru. No matter how lazy people are, they all have parts that they care about. Shikamaru blamed himself for not even noticing it. But, Ino raised his own doubts. Shiraishi, since you know that old lady abuses cats, why did you suggest that you help her find a stray cat? Isn't this harming that stray cat? Your IQ is really not optimistic. Shiraishi shook his head. It's a ninja cat, isn't it? Shikamaru said, if this old lady agrees to Shiraishi's suggestion, Shiraishi will go and catch a ninja cat. In that case, that old lady cannot be the opponent of that ninja cat. Once the old lady tries to abuse that ninja cat, she will be attacked by the ninja cat. Asuma's eyes lit up when she saw Shikamaru's performance. It's rare to see Shikamaru so motivated. For the most part, Shikamaru is lazy and can't do anything. At one point, Asuma was very big. Count you a little brainy. Shiraishi nodded and said, that's right, that's what I thought. However, I don't need to worry about the nutrition of your future children in Ino. Ino was stunned for a moment. Huh? Why? Because brainless women usually have big breasts. Immediately, Ino's face turned red. Hooligan. Ino ran out quickly, not daring to stop for a moment. No EQ event trigger. Talent, +11. Asuma shook her head helplessly. I have to admit that Shiraishi is really a genius in terms of ninjas, not only in strength, but also in terms of observation. But in terms of human affection, I really don't know anything, what to say and what not to say. There is no degree at all. Just now, Asuma saw that Ino had already developed a certain affection for Shiraishi. As a result, Shiraishi came to this sentence. Directly ran away from Ino gas. Shiraishi looked calm and didn't care at all. What is a woman? Talent points are the most important. Have you eaten almost enough? Today's arrangement is over. There is nothing to do. Just disperse. Thank you for the hospitality. Asuma walked to the front desk alone. His back looked a little gloomy, and he took out the hand of his wallet, very reluctant. In other words, is Asuma Sr. so poor? Shiraishi glanced back. It shouldn't be. Asuma Sr. is Shainin, and the son of Hokage, not to mention the family wealth. Please eat seafood. Why does the meat hurt like this? Shikamaru shook his head. Teacher Asuma's income is not low, but the consumption is also large. He is an old smoking gun, and he has to smoke well, and he is still pursuing the senior of Zirihong, but he is forced to do so. I only dare to give gifts. Please eat, do not dare to confess. Suddenly, a heavy cough sounded. Shikamaru's face turned pale, and he quickly closed his voice. Next to it, Asuma has already checked out. Shikamaru stole a glance and saw a dangerous aura in Asuma's eyes. This made Shikamaru regret it. Shikamaru couldn't help but look at Shiraishi. After spending a day with Shiraishi, before I knew it, my speech was actually influenced by Shiraishi. In this case, it is impossible for my usual self to say it. It's miserable. Asuma-sensei will definitely target me tomorrow. Shikamaru wanted to cry without tears. Night. A figure secretly approached the old lady's house. Exactly Shikamaru. Shikamaru wanted to come over and check if what Shiraishi said was true. This single, Shikamaru is very concerned. Come to the corner. Suddenly, another figure came out of it. Four-eyed double pair. Look at each other. Shikamaru? Hearing the voice, Shikamaru reacted. Asuma-sensei? It's me. Asuma nodded. Let's go. The two left quickly. Shikamaru, are you here to investigate? Is this old lady really cruel cats like Shiraishi said? Asuma-sensei, you too. That's right. Asuma nodded and said, although it is impossible for Shiraishi to lie, this kind of thing still needs to be verified. And the result? Shiraishi is right. So are we going to solve it? No need. Why? Shiraishi has been solved. Asuma's voice just fell. I heard a scream. It's very poignant. Immediately after, a cat jumped out of the old lady's yard. A ninja cat. Shikamaru's pupils shrank. This ninja cat, was it sent by Shiraishi? Obviously, yes, because other than us, others don't know much about this old lady. Asuma patted Shikamaru's shoulder. Go back, you have to train tomorrow. Shikamaru had already imagined what purgatory would await him tomorrow. Just because I said the wrong thing during the day. Episode 29. There was a knock on the door. When Shiraishi opened the door, he saw four figures. Shiraishi, I'm Shirihong, and your teen teacher arranged for you to train with us today. Good. Shiraishi nodded. Inuzuka moved next to Shiraishi. Of the three, Inuzuka had been in contact with Richard before. Shiraishi, who is your teacher? I asked Teacher Zirihong, and Teacher Zirihong didn't say anything. I can't say either. What kind of man, so secretive? A little ugly old man. This is what Shiraishi described yesterday, and Ino described the past. The corner of Sunset Red's mouth couldn't help but twitch. And at this very time, a dark one of the shadows entered the Hokage's office. Yesterday's situation, this dark member truthfully reported to the ape flying sun. Stronger observation than the Nara family, which means that this guy's brain is also very useful. Wait, you just said, what did he say his leading teacher was like? An ugly old man? Ape Fei-san's face darkened. This guy, you respect me as a teacher so much? The members of the dark department hesitated. Naruto-sama, you are nominally Shiraishi's teacher, but you haven't taught him for a day. Can it be that Shiraishi has a grudge against you because of this? There was another sentence that the members of the dark department did not dare to say. That is, Shiraishi is telling the truth. The ape is indeed old and ugly, but this is what Shiraishi can say. He can't say. The ape flew into the sun. In this way, I, as a teacher, am indeed a little derelict in my duties, but this is also a matter of no way. What Shiraishi currently lacks is the ability to communicate with people. Getting along with those peers is helpful for Shiraishi, and as for the strength, there is no need to be in such a hurry. Shino the oil girl walked alone, as if it didn't exist. This is a guy with a very low sense of presence, but according to the IQ setting, among the 12 small strong, second only to Shikamaru, it is the character of the 2nd Military Division, and the combat capabilities are not bad. Hinata secretly glanced at Shiraishi, a little curious about Shiraishi. Sunset Red stopped in a wood. Today's training item is chakra control, and chakra control ability has a great impact on physical arts, ninjutsu, illusion, which is the basis that ninjas must master well. After the summary of predecessors, a training method was developed. Just like this. The next moment, Sunset Red rushed towards a tree. Using both feet, I walked straight up. It was not until tens of meters before he stepped on his feet, and his figure slowly fell back to the ground. Where have the three Inuzuka seen this? Immediately, his eyes widened. That's awesome. Nothing great. Shirihong shook his head and said, this is just the foundation. As long as you train well, it is not difficult to reach this level. This is just the foundation. The trick is to condense chakra under your feet. With chakra, you can attach your feet to the trunk of a tree. Shiraishi raised his hand. Shiraishi, do you have anything to say? I don't participate in this training. Not participating? Why? Sunset Hong was surprised. Because this is so simple, you can fully learn something just by watching it once, and there is no need to practice at all. If it weren't for the fact that it was Shiraishi, and Shirihong had learned a little about Shiraishi before, Shirihong couldn't help but wonder if there was something wrong with the person in front of him, and this person hesitated. Then Shiraishi, you try? Okay. Shiraishi nodded, and then rushed up the tree in the same way as Sunset Red, and the height was a little higher than the height reached by Sunset Red. Inuzuka chuckled. It's so simple, I'll try it too. The next moment, Inuzuka rushed over. Less than 3 meters. Snap. Inuzuka fell to the ground. This made Inuzuka a little skeptical of life. Inuzuka, you have to know that people are incomparable. What I can do, you may not be able to do it, but your level is worse than I expected. Now you're a rookie chicken better than Naruto. No EQ event trigger, talent +4. Inuzuka felt embarrassed when he heard the previous sentence, but hearing the latter sentence, Inuzuka was curious. Impossible. Inuzuka was confident in facing Naruto at this time. First of all, the identity of Naruto's 10,000-year-old crane tail has not changed. Second, when learning to draw circles with his left hand and squares with his right hand with Shiraishi, Inuzuka progressed significantly faster than Naruto. Believe it or not, it's a fact. But you can also deceive yourself, understandably, mortals like to comfort themselves like this. Shiraishi looked at the setting sun. Senior, can I not participate in today's training? Yes, you can. Sunset Hong had just come to her senses. The process of Baishur just now, Shirihong seriously recalled it. Sunset Hong found that Shiraishi's control over chakra turned out to be better than herself. I'm a good endowment. What kind of genius is this? A chakra control, of course, does not represent strength. However, at this age, such a strong chakra controllability, that means that the future strength will definitely not be bad. At least Shangnan, and it's stronger than me, and Asma's upper shinobi. Episode 30, just train as I just said. Sunset Red looked at Inuzuka and said, yes, teacher. Inuzuka was the worst performer. Hinata has been learning in Hinata's environment since she was a child, and the jutsu itself has relatively high requirements for the control of chakra, so it is inevitable that Hinata will perform better than Inuzuka. Shino the oil girl is born more mature than Inuzuka. Sunset Red took Shiraishi and came to the other side. Shiraishi, do you know why you, Naruto-sama, let you participate in training in different squads? Develop self-confidence? Confident? Sunset was stunned for a moment. Isn't it? Shiraishi said, let me see how bad these ninjas of the same age are, which makes me more confident in myself. That's right, but it's superfluous, I've always been confident. Sunset Red, however, Sunset had to admit that Shiraishi was right. Ninjas of the same age as Shiraishi are much worse than Shiraishi. Even Sasuke, who was known as a genius before Shiraishi appeared, when Shiraishi appeared, compared to Shiraishi, Sasuke seemed mediocre and could not be more mediocre. However, Sasuke has Sharingan. Shiraishi, ninjas never act alone, they are often a team, even if they may not be as strong as you now. But, what will happen in the future, who knows? And you will eventually have your own teammates. Respect your teammates, believe in your teammates, and complete the task more smoothly. And, in the middle of the mission, live. Do you understand that? Shiraishi nodded. Of course I understand, but these are what mediocre ninjas need. I heard that the original Hokage single-handedly calmed the original ninja world war, gave peace to the world, and settled down in the form of a ninja village. The fourth generation of Hokage, also during the third ninja world war, one person constantly shuttled through various battlefields, giving Konoha a great advantage and winning the title of Golden Flash. Sunset shook her head. Shiraishi, I know that you are very talented, but the first and fourth generations are no longer at the level of geniuses, but on the existence above geniuses, and it is difficult for us to compare with them. Well, I can't say for sure. Shiraishi shrugged and said, I want to say that I am more genius than them, and you will not believe it, senior. So, let's talk about another point. Regarding getting along with my peers, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm telling the truth. Sunset Red, Shiraishi, people sometimes don't have to tell the truth. To lie? White lies. Shiraishi pointed to the three Inuzuka and said, just like them, obviously very dish, I want to tell them, they actually behaved well, deceived them, and made them happy? Shiraishi's words were very loud. All three Inuzuka heard it, and did not look at Shiraishi. Would love to get angry, but helplessly found that Shiraishi was actually right. Recalling Shiraishi's performance just now, they only felt that they were a waste. No EQ event trigger, talent plus 14. Sunset Red slapped his forehead. Then I'll try it now. Shiraishi walked towards Inuzuka and said, Inuzuka, yeah, in fact, you are not a rookie, you are very powerful. You see that you can climb to 3 meters high now, and it is almost 1/10 of mine. Shino, the bugs you raised are so cute. Hinata, your white eyes are so beautiful. Inuzuka, yeah, Shino the oil girl. Hinata, no EQ event trigger, talent plus 38. What is this thing, good? No, it's clearly a mockery, okay. A black line appeared on Sunset Red's forehead, and she was desperate. Shiraishi was not something she could change at all with these words, even counterproductive. Shiraishi, you come back. Senior Sunset Red, how did I behave just now? Sunset Hong didn't know what to say, tangled for a long time. Shiraishi, what I said just now, you should think that you didn't hear it, you better be yourself. Okay, a thought flashed in Sunset Hong's heart. Could it be that Shiraishi did this on purpose? Because, with Shiraishi's IQ, this problem will not be taken into account. But after staring at Shiraishi for a long time, Sunset Hong didn't see it. This concludes the morning training. Let's go to lunch first, and after eating, we will continue the afternoon training. Sunset Red looked at the 3 Inuzuka. Yes, 1 serving of tonkatsu ramen for each person. After resting for half an hour, Sunset Hong brought the 4 of Shiraishi to the training ground. In the afternoon, we have actual combat training. Shiraishi, you won, how about the 3 of them? Shiraishi shrugged. Yes, no problem. Okay then. Shirihong looked at the 3 Hinata and said, Shiraishi's strength is very strong, but there are 3 of you, so you have to use your own advantages and use the team. Ninjas form a squad, not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, but can equal 3, or even more. Episode 31. Yes, teacher. Immediately, the 3 Hinata gathered together to discuss tactics. But this one, they are doomed to not win. Sunset Red knows this too. However, the effect of training is still there. In the face of formidable enemies, the potential of the Hinata trio can be unleashed. And Sunset Red also wants Shiraishi to see that before and after the Hinata trio, it is completely different. In this way, the purpose of Sunset Red has been achieved. Shino said, yeah, you and I attack Shiraishi from 2 different directions. Akamaru also separated, attacking Shiraishi from as many directions as possible, so that we can find opportunities. Hinata, you use your white eyes, observe Shiraishi's movements, and support us at any time. Inuzuka and Hinata looked at each other and both nodded. Have you discussed it? Teacher, we have already discussed. Okay, let's get started. 4 people came to the middle. Sunset Red glanced at both sides. Begin. Shiraishi didn't move. Inuzuka and Shino quickly separated, one to Shiraishi's left and the other to Shiraishi's right. Akamaru and Shino the oil girl bugs separated again. Shiraishi needs to face attacks from one direction at the same time. Moreover, there is also Hinata in front of him, who is staring at Shiraishi with white eyes open. That's it? Shiraishi shook his head. There is no point in doing this. Attacking in multiple directions will indeed cause some trouble for Shiraishi. However, they only thought about themselves. Shiraishi was not considered at all. Why did Shiraishi wait for them to attack? The next moment, Shiraishi's figure flashed. Shino and Inuzuka didn't react, and Shiraishi's figure had already come behind Hinata, and a hand jammed Hinata's neck, making Hinata breathless. I won. Inuzuka and Shino were stunned on the spot. Shiraishi let go of Hinata. Sunset Red Sr., 1 + 1 may not only equal 2, but also equal 0. Suddenly, Hinata's faces turned red. However, it is impossible to refute it. Now that they think back, they and others really did not perform well. Only thought about himself, did not think about the opponent. It's my problem. Hinata raised his hand. Inuzuka and Shino hurriedly said, no, we are also responsible. But the main responsibility lies with Hinata. Because the hope of attacking was on Inuzuka and Shino the oil girl, he ignored it, and even lost his mind. As a result, when Shiraishi attacked him, he didn't react at all. One more time. Inuzuka looked at Shiraishi unconvinced. It's the same again. The second time, Hinata was prepared, but Shiraishi attacked, not Hinata, but Akamaru. One hand carried the back of Akamaru's neck. Akamaru could only scream and did not have the slightest ability to resist. Will it really help, not drag, with these towing bottles? No EQ event trigger. Talent +7. Sunset Red. Come again. Inuzuka's eyes were fierce, and there was a fighting spirit in his eyes. Finally, there was a little more cooperation between the 3, but it was still Shiraishi who won. After all, this gap is too big. Shiraishi's strength is already genuine. Between middle ninjutsu and special upper patience, learn a few more ninjutsu and physical skills, and you will immediately reach the level of special upper patience. And if he learns all the illusions of the Sunset Red Society, then Shiraishi will reach the level of superior patience. Okay, that's the end of today's training. Sunset Red looked at Hinata and the 3. Hinata, Shino, yeah, you all performed very well, although at the beginning, you didn't think about many things, but later you improved a lot. And then there's you Shiraishi. Thank you Hinata, they have been competing. Judging from this afternoon's actual combat training alone, it must be the 3 Hinata who have gained something. Shiraishi didn't gain anything. With Shiraishi's strength, this kind of pediatric battle is of little help. However, Shiraishi gained talent points. lots of talent points. This can be seen from the expressions of the Hinata 3. This is something that Sunset Red does not know, but Shiraishi should be able to see that the combination of two people, and a single person, is a completely different concept. Do you still have the previous idea? Almost. Shiraishi shrugged and said, 1 plus 1, it is indeed possible to become 3. But 100 plus 1 is still 100. What about 100 plus 100? It may become 300. Don't you think that this is also worthless? It seems to have. Then you should now recognize the role of teams and partners. Not recognized. Sunset Red? I still prefer to be alone. Okay. Sunset Red no longer tries to change Shiraishi's mind. This is the end of today. Everyone go home early. Yes. Shiraishi walked into the ramen shop. It's just the point for dinner. Boss, get a tonkatsu ramen and add meat. Okay, come right away. Suddenly, a figure walked in from the outside and sat next to Shiraishi, a dry old man. Episode 32. Old man, there are so many empty seats here. Why do you just sit next to me, geezer? Tuanzong had a bulge on his forehead. No EQ event trigger. Talent, plus 31. Shiraishi's eyes lit up for a moment. The talent point of this feedback is comparable to Mizuki, worthy of being the king of the pot. No, it should be said that Mizuki's talent points can be comparable to the pot king, which is a little incredible. Do today's young people respect their elders like this? Tuanzong took a deep breath and forcibly suppressed his temper. Elder? Shiraishi shook his head and said, do you know who I am? What people? I'm a disciple of Hokage now, and in this village, even if I look a bad old man who looks very young, but he may be lower than me in terms of generation, he should call me uncle. Tuanzong smiled. Do you know who I am? It doesn't matter. Tuanzong. This unimportant sentence made Tuanzong very uncomfortable. Originally, Danzo was ready to say his identity, look at Shiraishi's panicked look, and apologize again. But White Stone do not play cards according to the routine. Danzo knew before that Shiraishi was a problem teenager. The ninja of the route has heard a lot of news. Shiraishi's performance at the ninja school, defeat Mizuki, compare with Ebisu, and get along with the Asma squad, get along with the Sunset Red squad. These Tuanzang know it clearly. Speech is especially hard to hear. However, these things will not be experienced so deeply when they are next to them. Now that I have experienced it directly, Tuanzong has only experienced the power of this thing. Angry no. Introduce yourself. I'm not some casual bad old man. I'm Sarutobi's former teammate, and now one of the Konoha elders, Shimura Danzo. Elder? Now got it? Got it. Baisher nodded and said, the elder is the kind of elder, very qualified, but not capable, so in the end, what real power position cannot be obtained? Just be an honorary elder? Tuanzong. On this day, there is no way to talk. Tuanzo wants to kill. If it weren't for the fact that Shiraishi had already become a disciple of the ape flying sun, Tuanzong really wouldn't have cared so much. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand anything. He has a bad brain. I don't have to care. Tuanzong kept comforting himself like this in his heart. Shiraishi, I am not an honorary elder. I play a very important position in Konoha, but I can't tell you this. But I can guarantee that my importance is not weaker than Hinata. I came here this time because I fancy your talent. I know, Richo has already accepted you as a disciple, but this way of teaching is too wasteful of your talent. What can you learn from a ninja squad in a day? If you became my disciple, it would be different. I will provide you with the best conditions. Your progress will be unprecedented. Until then, become one of the strongest people in this village. Tuanzong suddenly lowered his voice. Even, I can push you into Hokage's position. Shiraishi raised his eyebrows. But I'm now a disciple of Hokage. What do you mean? If you want to talk about who has the most power in this village, it must be Hokage, right? That's right. That's not it. Shiraishi said, why did you turn to an elder and betray a Hokage? As long as it is a person with a normal brain, it will not make such a choice. On the one hand, the Hokage, on the other hand, an elder. It's a choice question that kids do. No EQ event trigger. Talent, plus 28. An elder? The green tendons on Tuanzang's forehead twitched again. But you can see the attitude of Richo towards you now. He didn't regard you as a disciple at all. At that time, I first wanted to make you my disciple, but Richo cut off his beard. But is he a qualified teacher? If you are worried that after becoming my disciple, you will be retaliated by the Sun Chopper, you don't have to worry about this at all, because I will solve everything. Shiraishi shook his head. Forget it. Why? Because I don't think you can do it. I can't do it? Tuanzong smiled angrily. Shiraishi, then you are sure now that you don't want to become my disciple? There is only one chance. This is your best chance, but there will be no more. Are you sure you really want to give it up? The disciple you become is beneficial to you and harmless. Shiraishi hesitated. It is definitely not good to refuse directly. No one knows if Tuanzong will go crazy and strike directly. Moreover, continuing to keep in touch with Danzo is good for Shiraishi to obtain talent points. I'll think about it. Hearing this, Tuanzang's face eased a little. Then you go back and think about it, think clearly, and tell me again. The regiment hid and prepared to leave. That elder, wait a minute, got it considered? No, I'm just asking. Are you all here? Don't you give me some gifts to show your sincerity? The corner of Tuanzang's eyes twitched. Okay, here you go. Danzo threw out a scroll. Episode 3. Is this guy really bad at brains? Tuanzong glanced back. Shiraishi just now, I have to say, is very bold. A root member wearing a mask said, it should be true. Shiraishi doesn't speak like this when he is facing you. He does this to everyone, even Naruto-sama. My people heard it with their own ears. Shiraishi said to Yamanaka Ino that his teacher was an ugly-looking old man. The corner of Tuanzang's mouth couldn't help but show a smile. In terms of appearance, even if you shoot a horse, you can't compare to me. It's a pity, now that we're all old, appearance doesn't matter anymore. How did Hinata react when he heard this? The root member replied, it's embarrassing, not very happy, but I didn't say much. Tuanzang was in a much better mood. Forget it, it shouldn't be a disguise. After all, if he deliberately disguises himself like this, there will be no benefit at all, except to bring him trouble. Except for Shiraishi himself, no one will know about the existence of talent points. Back home, Shiraishi took out the scroll first. Wind escape, vacuum jade. Immediately, Shiraishi put it down again. Now Shiraishi doesn't know how to change the nature of chakra, so he can't learn this ninjutsu. Moreover, Shiraishi is accumulating talent points and breaking the physical and mental limiters. Now Shiraishi has earned talent points in the early 2000s. Before this, Shiraishi felt that he did not need to learn any ninjutsu first. The battle with Mizuki and the competition with Ebisu gave Shiraishi an idea of his strength. In the current situation, there is no need to continue to improve the strength. Even if he needs to fight, Shiraishi still has a hand in Narukami's art. There was a knock on the door. Naruto? Shiraishi opened the door and saw Naruto standing in the doorway. Shiraishi, good morning. Something? Today our squad is resting, so I'll come and see. Shiraishi, that teacher of yours still hasn't taught you anything? I heard that you have been training with them these 2 days? Sort of. Then your teacher who leads the team is also too irresponsible. Just a jerk. Just about. A figure walked towards this side, coughed dryly. Grandpa Naruto? Naruto turned around. Sarutobi stood behind Naruto with a somewhat embarrassed expression. Naruto, Shiraishi, good morning. Grandpa Naruto, what are you doing here? Ape Flying Sun Chopper said, I came to find Shiraishi. Naruto, that bastard you just said is him. What? Naruto's eyes widened. What do you mean? Sarutobi nodded and said, I am Shiraishi's instructor. But Hokage is too busy with this job, so I can only let me go to each squad to learn first. This, Shiraishi, I hope you understand. Sarutobi looked at Shiraishi. After all, compared to strength, Shiraishi, you need to improve your communication ability, which may not be so important at your age. After all, everyone's mind is simple. But as you get older, the world gets complicated. Former companions may drift apart. Shiraishi shrugged. I'm casual, that's fine. That's good. Ape Flying Sun breathed a sigh of relief. And at this time, Naruto reacted. This is incredible. Shiraishi, your instructor turned out to be Grandpa Naruto? Naruto's eyes showed a touch of envy, as well as a little jealousy. Why is my lead teacher a small Kakashi? Sarutobi glanced at Naruto. Naruto, what you said is not right. Kakashi is the most important among the younger generation of ninjas. Let Kakashi take you. It is more than enough. And, aren't you afraid that Kakashi will be sad when you say this? Naruto reacted. Grandpa Naruto, I don't mean that. Don't tell Kakashi-sensei. I respect Kakashi-sensei, even though he is always late and secretly reads unhealthy novels. Ape Fei couldn't help but cough dryly. He is the originator of this matter. The art of telescopes is used to do this. Naruto, are you okay? If not, I would like to talk to Shiraishi alone. Nope, then you go back first. Okay, Naruto got up and walked outside. By the way, Naruto, I am Shiraishi's instructor. You know it, don't tell anyone else. Good. Naruto nodded, and his figure gradually disappeared. Sarutobi looked at Shiraishi. Shiraishi, are you resentful of me? Nope, really? It's impossible. After I became your instructor, I didn't teach you properly, nor did I give you any ways to improve your strength. And I didn't teach you ninjutsu, so you didn't have any other thoughts in mind? Not really. Shiraishi shook his head and said, it's all the same for me. It's the same for anyone. Even if it's just a scroll, it makes no difference. Ape Flying Sun Chopper. Sarutobi felt that he was ignored and inexplicably insulted. Episode 34. Shiraishi, I came here this time to seriously talk to you about your future. Ape Fei Richo was silent for a long time and said, your talent is very good. Among all the people I have met, among those younger than us, you are the strongest. With your talent, you will become a very powerful ninja in the future. Even if you become a Hokage in the future, I won't be surprised. However, there are indeed some problems with your personality. The white stone fox stared suspiciously at the ape flying sun. Teacher, you shouldn't have come here because you heard my description of your image, did you? Just because I told the truth, so I upset you? Of course not. Ape Fei almost spewed out a mouthful of blood, and denied, those words don't matter. The point is that you get along with other people. Don't you think there is a problem there? Nope. Shiraishi shook his head. I think I get along well with them. Ino, Dingji, Shikamaru, we all formed a good friendship. and I felt that we had a great time eating when Asuma-senpai invited us to a seafood dinner. And Inuzuka, Hinata, Shino, after being defeated, they are all excited. Sarutobi tried to imagine it. Have a great time eating seafood? That's totally okay with friendship, it's just because of the food. And the excitement after being defeated by you? That's when people want revenge and defeat you. It is even more impossible to be involved in the relationship with several words of getting along. You call this getting along well? Ape Fei thought of Asuma and Sunset Red's complaints, and couldn't help but grow his head. Both of them have the same evaluation of Shiraishi. Ninja talent, Shiraishi didn't say. Be unique and above everyone. But this character really can't be solved. Sarutobi took a deep breath. Shiraishi, they are all your classmates, and they are likely to become your companions in the future. And on the battlefield, during the mission, you will become companions and face the same enemies. Let me give you an example. Why do you call them rookies? Shiraishi said, of course, because they are rookie chickens themselves. It's not my problem. If they want to be in my eyes, not rookie chickens, then it's them, not me, who should work hard, right? Teacher, shouldn't an elephant, when it sees an ant, call this ant an ant, but an elephant? I'm telling the truth. Ape Fei slashed the corner of his eye. God's special truth. However, they are not ants, you are not elephants, you are all people, you are all ninjas. I know, so I'm not calling them ants, but rookie chickens. Ape Flying Sun Chopper. I don't know why, Sarutobi Richo felt as if he couldn't get around Shiraishi. After talking to Shiraishi for a while, Shiraishi will be pulled into his way of thinking. After saying a few more words, I will feel that what Shiraishi said makes some sense. Ape Flying Sun Chopper quickly shook his head and changed the topic. Because Ape Flying Sun Chopper realized that it was impossible for him to convince Shiraishi in a short time, and it was easy to wrap himself around if he said more. Forget it, don't talk about this. Shiraishi, do you have anything you want? As a teacher, I haven't sent you a gift yet. Shiraishi thought for a moment. Teacher, are you generous? What? Ape Fei was stunned for a moment. Shiraishi said, if you are generous, I will make a relatively large request, and if you are stingy, I will casually say a simple thing. How do I answer this? It's okay, but within my ability, unrealistic ideas, I can't do it. That's pettiness, isn't it? Ape Flying Sun Chopper. No EQ event trigger, talent plus 16. Since that's the case, then I don't have much to say. It's not stingy, I'm just afraid that you will propose something unrealistic. Generous? Generous. Ape Fei nodded heavily. Forget it, I didn't think about it. Shiraishi looked at the Ape Flying Sun Slash and said, this can be saved for later. And I can use it when I think about it, right? Yes, you can. That's right. Ape Flying Sun Chopper said the true purpose of his coming this time. I saw that day, after you entered the ramen shop, an old man followed you in. What did the old man say to you? Tuanzong saw the matter of Shiraishi, and did not hide the Ape Flying Sun. You said the one-eyed old man? That's right. He said that he is an elder of Konoha, with a high status, and is not under you, the Hokage. Let me turn to him, provide me with the best conditions, and elect me as the Hokage in the future. Ape Fei's face sank slightly. Did he really say that? I never lie. No, last time Senior Sunset Hong asked me to tell a few white lies, but the effect didn't seem to be very good, so I don't even tell white lies now. What about Shiraishi? What do you think? Ape Flying Sun Chopper hurriedly asked. Episode 35. I don't think he can do it. Why? Isn't that obvious? Shiraishi said, I have no problem with my brain. I am now a disciple of your teacher. You are the Hokage of Konoha. If I turn to him, then I am not equivalent to betraying you. Can you give me good fruit to eat? I'm not that careful with my eyes. Ape Flying Sun interjected. Then you won't come today. No EQ event trigger. Talent plus 13. Ape Flying Sun Chopper. I just want to come over and find out the situation. After all, no matter what, be sure you are all my disciples. If you run into trouble, I have to solve it for you. Okay. Ape Fei cut up and said, there is nothing else. Then I will leave first. There are still a large number of documents stacked in my office that need to be signed. The matter of the meeting ceremony, when you think about it, remember to tell me. Good. Shiraishi watched the ape fly away for a long time before retracting his gaze. Mizuki, Ape Flying Sun, Tuanzo. These three people currently give Shiraishi the most talent points feedback. Sarutobi Hinata is okay and is Shiraishi's teacher. Shiraishi said a little more unpleasant things, and it was not a big problem. Tuanzon there, you have to pay attention to the degree, you can't go too far. Otherwise the other party directly ignores the identity of the disciple of Baishur Hokage and directly stabs the knife. Then Baishur will lose a lot. Mizuki is no longer in Konoha, but is locked up in some unknown dungeon. Soon. It's really fast. Shiraishi has now saved more than 2,000 talent points, and by 3,000, he can break the physical and mental restrictions. After Sarutobi left, the surroundings calmed down. Danzo did not come into contact with Shiraishi again for a short time. It may be that Shiraishi thought about time, but it may also be that Sarutobi gave a warning. Shiraishi, Naruto trotted in. What's wrong? Come on a mission with us. Mission? That's right. Naruto nodded and said, this task, I begged Grandpa Naruto for a long time, and Grandpa Naruto agreed, but it is not the kind of D-level task of cleaning up river garbage and finding cats. It's about leaving the sea-level mission that the village is performing. But Grandpa Naruto didn't promise me right away, but told me that as long as you agree, he agreed to let us Kakashiban and Shiraishi go on this mission together. What task? It seems to be some kind of bridge-related task. Shiraishi, I beg you. Shiraishi glanced at Naruto. Why do you beg me, and I have to agree? Aren't we friends? Friends? Shiraishi shook his head. I'm not going to be friends with Rookie. Naruto, you're still far behind. No EQ event trigger. Talent, +6. Naruto's expression froze, but quickly recovered. There was a hint of fighting spirit in his eyes. Shiraishi, I will definitely catch up with you and get your approval. Yet. Shiraishi turned his head and said, this task sounds quite interesting. I can agree. Really? That's great. Naruto jumped up excitedly. A group of 5 people came to the Hokage building. Next to it is a middle-aged old man. Ape Flying Sun coughed dryly. Kakashi, that's bothering you. Good. Kakashi glanced at Shiraishi, his head a little big. During the period after the shift, almost all of Shiraishi's newly formed ninja squad stayed. In addition to bringing shadows to countless small ninjas, it also brought shadows to the leading ninjas. Asma, Sunset Red, Kakashi, this kind is a little better. After all, in terms of strength, you can rely on mastering more ninjutsu, physical arts, and illusion arts, which is stronger than Shiraishi. But those who are the leading teachers are different. Even the strength of the teacher who leads the team is not as good as Shiraishi, so how else to teach? A Naka Shinobi teacher who wanted to teach Shiraishi a lesson was unexpectedly severely taught by Shiraishi, and in Shiraishi's speaking style. On the spot, that Naka ninja wanted to die. Afterwards, he calmed down, but also voluntarily resigned as a leading teacher. Shiraishi makes everyone's head big. Moreover, in Kakashi's squad, there are 2 problem teenagers themselves. Add Shiraishi, and that's 3. One problem is bigger than one. Mr. Deshen, if there is no problem, then we will leave tomorrow morning. Daxina glanced at Shiraishi suspiciously. How many of you? Are you reliable? These are so small, can they come in handy? Especially the one, no matter how you look at it, it doesn't look good. Dachina refers to Naruto. Immediately, Naruto was not convinced. Uncle, who do you say? Naruto, Kakashi reprimanded. This gentleman, please rest assured, our staffing is carefully considered. These 4 are all qualified shinobi of Konoha, plus my superior shinobi. There will be no problem in performing sea-level tasks. Shanshinobu? When Dachina heard these 2 words, he breathed a sigh of relief. Then I am relieved, but this commission is very important to me. You must not mess it up. Rest assured, we ninjas, everything is mission-oriented. Episode 36. The next day, Shiraishi arrived at the entrance of the village at the appointed time. Kakashi and the others had already arrived 1 step ahead. All 3 of Naruto looked a little excited. Dachina glanced at Shiraishi in dissatisfaction. Why is it so slow? Kakashi quickly gestured to Shiraishi's eyes. But Shiraishi had already spoken. Old man, I came according to the agreed time. If you can't read the clock clearly, please go and get glasses. You. Dachina jumped up angrily. Kakashi quickly explained. Mr. Dachina, Shiraishi did come at the appointed time. He was not late, and Shiraishi's personality has some problems. Who he talks to is like this. Don't mind. Humph. Next time, I will complain to you. Dachina snorted coldly. Shiraishi glanced at Dajuna and tried to speak, but was stopped by Kakashi. Shiraishi, you are responsible for the break. Feel free. Shiraishi shrugged and came to the back of the line. The location of the group is determined. Kakashi was at the front, because Kakashi is the strongest. After Shiraishi broke, Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, around Dajina. For ninjas, the life of their employer is paramount. Why did Kiki commit suicide? It is because when facing any partner, Jimu Sumo chooses a partner, not a task. For ninjas, this is certainly a good thing, because the lives of ninjas are protected. But for employers, that's not a good thing. After such a thing happens, the employer will feel that the ninja values his life more than the task, and it is likely that in the middle of the mission, he senses the danger and suddenly runs away. This creates a crisis of confidence. It's not just one person's business, it's a matter for the entire ninja world. Even other ninja villages will put pressure on Konoha. In this context, Chimumu had to apologize by suicide. As time passed, Naruto's initial excitement faded. This was completely different from what Naruto expected. It's so boring. It's about hurrying, nothing else. Shiraishi didn't think. The reason why Shiraishi came out this time was completely for talent points. Daikoner's body has very few talent points. Shiraishi weighed it, but still forgot it, and did not intend to stimulate Daxuna. Instead, prepare to wait for the characters you will meet next. No more chopping in white. These 2 people, in Shiraishi's expectations, should give themselves a lot of talent points. It's not interesting. Naruto carried his hands on his back. It's boring. Kakashi-sensei, did you all go on missions outside the village before? Kakashi glanced back at Naruto. Be quiet, don't talk nonsense, watch your surroundings. Yes, yes. Naruto suddenly looked at a grass. Not good, there is a situation. Sakura and Sasuke quickly shifted their gaze gaze and looked guarded. Dachina trembled even more in fear. Kakashi turned around, expressionless. That grass, Kakashi had seen. There is nothing at all. Naruto ran over quickly. Ha ha ha, read it wrong, there is nothing in it. Naruto came back scratching his head. Sakura and Sasuke still didn't understand what was going on. Dachina glared angrily at Naruto. This is a ninja? Little man, if you are shocked like this again, I will definitely complain about you. Shiraishi yawned. Just stop here and fix it. Everyone eat something. Kakashi stopped by a stream. Kakashi-senpai, how long will it stop? An hour. Kakashi glanced at Dachina. For a ninja, this rush is nothing. But Dachina is an ordinary person with limited physical strength and needs to rest longer to recover his strength. Shiraishi came to the stream. One stretch out. A fish was caught by Shiraishi. Take a branch and string it well. After that, start a fire. Soon, the aroma of grilled fish wafted out. For a moment, Naruto and the others felt that the dry food in their hands was not fragrant. Sakura's eyes lit up. So fragrant. Shiraishi, you can actually grill fish? Naruto also came closer. No, since Shiraishi knows how to cook, why don't you cook your own food? Why do you eat outside? Trouble. Shiraishi is constantly observing the progress of the grilled fish. When it was just right, a handful of condiments was spilled. After that, Shiraishi ate it. There are 3 in total. Shiraishi finished it himself. However, the 3 of Naruto have long understood Shiraishi's personality. That is, when they went to order ramen, they would not consider others, only their own people. And the 3 did not expect Shiraishi to share it with them at the beginning. But Shiraishi still got a little bit of talent from the 3. Even more unhappy was Dachina. I said, are you ninjas like this? There is obviously better food, why not share it with employers? Is that how you treat employers? This is the service attitude of your ninjas? Shiraishi glanced at Dachina. Old man, do you want to eat grilled fish? Okay, but this is not within the scope of your previous commission. Entrust me to help you grill a fish. It is a D-level task, or will you return to Konoha now to entrust you? After this sneer, Dachina's beard stood up. No EQ event trigger. Talent +3. Episode 37. Shiraishi shook his head. It's all this level, only 3 talent points. This Dachina, the cost performance is too low. Rest well, let's get going. Shiraishi, the traces have been cleaned up. Shiraishi nodded and threw all the traces of the fire, as well as fish bones, into the stream. Enter a forest. After Naruto was reprimanded by Kakashi, he was much more honest. Kakashi's face calmed down a bit. Sakura and Sasuke didn't have that much of a problem. Kakashi now mainly has a headache for both Naruto and Shiraishi, the former, trying hard to express themselves. But it's really not good. Make the whole squad tense. Not only Kakashi, but even Sasuke and Sakura disliked Naruto. And Shiraishi is on the bar with Dachina again. But Kakashi knew that it wasn't Shiraishi who didn't take over. It is Dachina who does not make sense. But after all, Dachina is the employer. There will definitely be no such squad in the future. It's good that at that time I rejected the idea of Sasuke, Naruto, and Shiraishi forming a squad. Otherwise, Kakashi glanced back, a little afraid. Suddenly, Kakashi's face changed drastically. 2 figures appeared in the bushes next to them. A chain, pulled by 2 ninjas, bound towards Kakashi. Sakura, Sasuke, reacted immediately. 2 people, one in front of the other, protected Dachina. Naruto froze. The next moment, click, Kakashi was strangled by chains. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto exclaimed. Bang, a white smoke fell. Kakashi's figure disappeared. Bound by chains, it becomes a stake. Avatar, Shiraishi's figure disappeared. Bang, bang, 2 voices sounded. Kakashi and Shiraishi each appeared behind a ninja. One stun. The 2 carried the ninja to a large tree. Senior, give. Shiraishi threw the ninja over. Kakashi nodded. Well done, Shiraishi, you let them stop where they are. Don't move yet. Good. Shiraishi returned to the 4 of Sakura. Shiraishi, how's it going? It's just 2 weak chickens, it's been solved. Shiraishi looked around and stayed on Dachina for a little longer. Kakashi-senpai told you to stay still here. What's the matter? Wait until he comes back. After Shiraishi finished speaking, he returned to the 2 captives. Kakashi-senpai, how about we torture separately to prevent them from colluding to confess? Yes. Kakashi hesitated and agreed. No matter how unreliable Shiraishi's personality is. But just now, Shiraishi's performance was indeed the best among the 4 shinobi. I reacted immediately to it. In comparison, Sasuke and Sakura are a little slower. And Naruto simply didn't react. A puddle of water was poured over. The ninja wakes up. I won't say anything. After the ninja said this, he closed his eyes. Are you sure? Okay, then I'll kill you. The ninja suddenly opened his eyes and widened. This kills me? How about that? Shiraishi said, you came to attack us, you must be the enemy, and you can't get information from you, so don't kill you. What do you keep you for? No, that's what you asked. How many more times? Shiraishi frowned and said, since you have already said it, you won't say anything, then you definitely won't say it. Do I have to do other things? Come, twist your neck, I'll start. Shiraishi took out Kuwu. Ninja, no, you're so bad to torture. Torture? That's right, didn't your teacher teach you? Nope. Shiraishi shook his head and said, do you want to teach such a simple thing? Am I not doing well now? It's not just a bad job, it's quite bad. The ninja stared at Shiraishi and hesitated. You're not going to be a recent graduate, are you? That's right. How do you know? The ninja felt a pain. It's really not like this to treat prisoners, where to ask a word and forget it. It will definitely be subjected to constant interrogation, and information will be obtained as much as possible. Ask more, threaten a few words. If it doesn't work, 2 more knives and a few beatings. You can get some information. Shiraishi nodded. I didn't expect there to be so much attention. Of course, like you, where can I get any intelligence? The ninja was relieved to see Shiraishi listen, but it's too much trouble. Shiraishi said, I don't like it, and you are an enemy. How can you believe what the enemy says? How do I know that you are not lying to me, right? Let's kill you, 100, so that you can't go wrong. Shiraishi took the kunai and approached the ninja. Wait, the ninja's shrill voice sounded. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the ninja you lead the team? No, Kakashi-senpai is not my leading teacher. Strictly speaking, my seniority is higher than Kakashi-senpai, 2 generations higher. And I didn't learn this in the first place. I just said that you don't say anything. I just killed you. How can I be punished? The ninja panicked a little. Shiraishi does not play cards according to the routine at all. In fact, the ninja was not very afraid of death. It's just that Shiraishi's performance makes the ninja realize that even if he dies later, he will die a miserable death. It's good that the knife is over. What if the knife doesn't work out? Episode 38. As a trader, this ninja has seen many dangers. I have seen many things of life and death. However, Shiraishi's state made the ninja inexplicably a little panicked. If you think about it, you will understand. A novice butcher kills a pig, and then it will definitely not kill. How many knives do you have to stab to kill? I don't know at all. It's all about luck. What can be done with the pig on the board? It can only be with horror, waiting for his own death. Now this ninja feels like a pig on that board. One stab to death, the ninja will not be so afraid. If Shiraishi were a torturer, the ninja would not be so fearful. Because confronting the torturer will become the spiritual support of this ninja. Only Shiraishi's identity as a novice overwhelmed the ninja. The ninja felt like he was about to become some kind of experiment. Wait a minute, I said. Say what? Of course, it's the intelligence you want. The ninja looked at Shiraishi and said, tell me the information you want. You can spare my life, right? I don't know. Shiraishi shook his head and said, even if you say intelligence, you are still our enemy. Just now you wanted to kill us, I think, or I will kill you. Then you go and ask your teacher. It's Kakashi, huh? Konoha's famous copy ninja. He will definitely make a decision. Shiraishi hesitated. That's too much trouble. The ninja was anxious, because he could see that Shiraishi didn't seem to care much about intelligence, but wanted to kill himself more, or rather, tried to kill a person. If Shiraishi really did this, the ninja felt that he would definitely die a very, very tragic death. Count me begging you. Such a scene was something this ninja had never imagined. He became a prisoner, wanted to contribute intelligence, and was able to have such a low posture. Okay then, Shiraishi returned to Kakashi. Kakashi-senpai, that captive agreed to give information, but on the condition that he spare his life. Agreed? Kakashi was stunned for a moment. What torture methods did you use? I didn't torture. Kakashi nodded and said, I'll go over and take a look. When the ninja saw Kakashi, he couldn't help but get excited. He felt that Shiraishi was simply not a normal human. Where is there like that? Kakashi-sama, I said it all. I only ask for my life. And when I see Konoha's people in the future, they all go around. Let's talk about it first. If the information is true and useful, I can promise not to kill you. Good, good. The ninja said quickly. We were hired by a merchant named Cardo, and in order to build bridges for the land of waves, Cardo controlled all the country's inlet trade in order to make huge profits. If the bridge is successful, Cardo's interests will be greatly affected, so Cardo hired us to stop the construction of the bridge. In addition to us, there are 2 very powerful ninjas. It seems to be from the Mist Shadow Village. I heard that it is Shangnan. Kakashi's brows furrowed. Shinobu? Yes, I see. Are you sure this information is true? That's true. Kakashi nodded. Okay, you can leave. Kakashi judged whether it was true or false and released the ninja. As for the other one, the result is obvious. Shiraishi, what did you do to him? Kakashi was curious. The ninja on the other side was very tough. Even if Kakashi used a lot of means, he didn't spit out half a word, didn't do anything. Shiraishi shook his head. It may be that this ninja is more intimidating himself. Kakashi didn't delve into it. Intelligence is obtained, then it is a good thing. The 2 returned to where the Sakura 4 were. Mr. Deshen, I need an explanation. Kakashi looked at Dejona. Sea-level commission, it is impossible for ninjas, especially middle ninjas. Moreover, according to the intelligence of the 2 ninjas just now, there is also the participation of Shangnan in this matter. Dechina exclaimed. No, these people are definitely not coming at me. Maybe they are coming at you. That's right, it's for you. You ninjas have burdened your employer. You have to lose money. Kakashi shook his head. Mr. Dechina, there is no point in your nonsense now. Do you want me to say more? Wave Country Bridge. Cardo. Hearing these 2 names, Dechina suddenly felt deflated. The whole person fell down. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I deceived you, but I can't help it. Daxiina snorted and fell to his knees. Our country of Wave is very poor because of the existence of Cardo, and we can't get that much money at all. Please help us. You ninjas, more or less, should have some righteousness, right? Please save the people of our country of waves, and give the people of the country of waves a way to live. We're really dying of life. Episode 39. Kakashi-sensei, let's help him, it's so pitiful. Naruto looked at Kakashi and was filled with righteous indignation when he heard what Kato had done. Sakura next to her nodded. That's right, Kakashi-sensei, that Kato is too much. People in the country of Ming Wave can live happily ever after, but it is because of their interests that so many people suffer. Kakashi ignored the two. Sasuke, what do you think? Kaido did something excessive, but Mr. Dachina deceived in the mission. I think we can go back to Konoha first and re-entrust. Naruto glared at Sasuke. Sasuke, do you still have compassion? Mr. Deshen is so pitiful. Don't we even help with this? Idiot. Kakashi looked at Shiraishi again. Shiraishi, what do you think? I'm not going. Why? Because this old man is a liar. Shiraishi pointed at Dachina and said, why is a liar's words trustworthy? What if what he said was false, which was a trap? After all, he has already deceived us once. Naruto was stunned for a moment. Yes, I didn't expect this possibility. Shiraishi glanced at Naruto. With your IQ, it's normal not to take this into account. Naruto, no EQ event trigger, talent, +3. Sakura next to her felt as if she had also been hit by an arrow. Kakashi looked at Shiraishi and said, the information obtained by interrogating that ninja just now can confirm that what Mr. Dachina said is true. So what do you think now? Naruto was silent for a moment, looked at Dachina, and then at Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I still insist and want to carry out this mission. Kakashi-sensei, me too. Suddenly, Dachina slammed his head on the ground. Please save us. It's my fault that I deceived you, but the civilians of the Land of Waves are innocent, so help us and give me a way to live. Sasuke had a tangled expression on his face. Kakashi-sensei, I want to try it too. Everyone's eyes turned to Shiraishi. Shiraishi shrugged. Since you have all decided, then I have nothing more to say. After all, we are now a team. It is good for Shiraishi to continue the mission. The opposition just now is just to squeeze talent points. Kakashi nodded, looking at Shiraishi with a hint of approval in his eyes. In that case, then we will continue to carry out this mission. But because the mission is upgraded, with your strength, it is very likely that you will not be able to deal with the danger, and you must obey my orders throughout this mission. Or go back now. Keep on the road. Dachina's attitude was much kinder. This change is normal. Because of guilt, and temper will be more irritable, in order to hide their guilt. Take a simple example. A couple, if one party cheats, then, the cheating one, it is easy to lose his temper with the other party on a small matter, and explode at one point. Why? Because there is guilt in my heart. I want to hide this guilt again. So amplify your temper. Disguise yourself and comfort yourself in your heart. Thank you very much. Dachina in particular, glanced more in the direction of Naruto and Shiraishi. Because before, among this team, the ones who had the worst relationship with Dachina were Naruto and Shiraishi. But now both Naruto and Shiraishi agreed to continue the mission. This made Deshen grateful. Take a break. Kakashi stopped and said, the battle just now, let's summarize it here. First of all, Shiraishi did a good job, reacted at the first time, and immediately subdued an attacker. Sasuke did a great job, blocking the attack on Mr. Dachina. Sakura is not bad, immediately came to the rear of Mr. Dachina, wary of attacks from the rear. It's alright to do that. In the course of the mission, the life of the employer is extremely important, even more important than our own lives. Kakashi looked at Naruto. Naruto was a little worried. Naruto, your performance just now was very poor. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto wanted to explain, but found that there was no way to explain. He really performed poorly, and in the face of the sudden situation, he did not react, and was completely stunned in place. Next time, don't make such mistakes again. Naruto clenched his fists fiercely. Kakashi-sensei, don't worry, I will never do it again. The surroundings fell silent. Deshen sat in the center of the crowd. Suddenly, phew, a sound of breaking through the air sounded. Be careful. Kakashi threw out a kunai. Ding. The two collided. The big knife shifted its direction. Dang. The big knife was cut on the trunk of the tree. A figure fell on the knife. Decapitation of the big knife. Mist Shadow Rebel Shinobi, one of the 7 people of the Ninja Dao, Ghost People. Momochi will not be cut again. No more faintly looked at Kakashi. I didn't expect the famous Konoha copy ninja to know about me, but I just don't know. How does your strength compare with your fame? Episode 40. Be careful. Kakashi glanced back. Dachina tensed. Sasuke, you 3 protect Mr. Dachina. Shiraishi, you are with me. Shiraishi nodded and stepped forward. Naruto hesitated, wanting to come to Kakashi's side, but gave up. Shiraishi came to Kakashi's side. Kakashi-senpai, just now you said that this person's nickname is Oni-man. Is it because this person has no eyebrows, and the long person is not a ghost or a ghost, so he was given this nickname? Kakashi was stunned for a moment. I couldn't help but glance back at Shiraishi, and felt that Shiraishi's focus was really different. Is it time to pay attention to this? But hearing Shiraishi say this, Kakashi also felt that there was some sense. In this world, people without eyebrows are indeed rare. Probably, yes. No more frowning. What are you two talking about? It's nothing, we're just discussing. Is it because you are too ugly and have no eyebrows? You will have the title of Ghost Man. Shiraishi replied. Kakashi slapped his forehead. If he didn't cut it again, his face suddenly became gloomy. What I look like is none of your business. We only discussed it privately, you asked it yourself. No more chopping. Are you guys provoking? Think I'm weak and deceptive? Nope. Shiraishi shook his head and said, I think you should be quite strong. Among the ninjas I have seen, there are not many stronger than you. If I surpass you, it may take half a year. Hearing the first half of the sentence, his face eased a little. After all, for appearance, I don't care so much. For strength, I don't care more about chopping. But the second half of the sentence was heard. No more anger. What do you mean? A ninja at such a young age, saying that he can surpass himself in half a year. Is this a recognition of his own strength? Isn't it a mockery of one's own strength? Kakashi was a little helpless. However, Shiraishi was telling the truth, which made Kakashi even more helpless. Shiraishi said a lot of unpleasant things. But it's all true. It's not that Sunset Red hasn't tried to let Shiraishi tell a white lie. At that time, when Shiraishi lied, the effect of mockery was more obvious. Therefore, the current ape flying sun slash does not know how to persuade Shiraishi to change this aspect. Shiraishi was just telling the truth. Are the ninjas of Konoha all rampant? He looked at Kakashi coldly. There's nothing more to say. Today, all of you have to die here. No more slashing and striking. Water escape, water dragon technique. The water in the river next to it was immediately dragged, forming a water dragon. The next moment, this water dragon rushed straight towards Kakashi and Shiraishi. However, at this time, Kakashi was also sealed. Water escape, water dragon technique. This is where Kakashi's name comes from. You can use the Sharingan to copy the other party's ninjutsu. And because of its fast sealing speed, it may even be possible to complete the ninjutsu first before the other party's sealing is completed. Defeat enemies with enemy moves. Two water dragons collided together. Bang! Fell with a bang. Countless splashes fell. The people around were all splashed. Awesome. Naruto's eyes lit up. Such a level of confrontation, they had never seen before. Kakashi-senpai, do you need help? Not for now, you guys will observe first. Kakashi still has some confidence in his strength. Really don't use it? I see that your advantage is not very great, or even not. Wait, I see. Kakashi-senpai, are you now worried about 2-1, passing out and losing people? Shiraishi showed a startled expression. No EQ event trigger. Talent, +13. Kakashi's face darkened. Indeed, Shiraishi was right. Kakashi did not allow Shiraishi to join the battle, and there were concerns about this. But on the other hand, it was because he wanted Shiraishi and the others to see clearly how Shainin fought first. Learn from this. Don't frown again. Kakashi, it seems that the relationship between your Konoha ninja is not so harmonious. Is it really okay that this ninja said such things to you? It's too disrespectful to you, senior. Kakashi looked no further. Shiraishi's character is like this. His nature is not bad. We all understand that your provocation is meaningless. Don't snort coldly. Then I'll do something meaningful now. He no longer looked in the direction where Shiraishi was. Sealing. Water escape. The art of the waterfall. Kakashi, I'd rather see if you can still come over. The water in the river became turbulent, like a waterfall, constantly rising, increasing. Bang! Sudden outburst. Rushed around. The nearby area, all flooded. It's like a flood. Be careful. Kakashi subconsciously looked at Tachina's side. Shiraishi, Kakashi wasn't worried, but Naruto 3, Kakashi didn't know if they would be able to handle it. The coverage of the Great Falls technique was too wide for Kakashi to support. Kakashi, do you still have the mind to worry about other people? The figure that was no longer cut appeared behind Kakashi.